Let's burn the flags of all nations. No more nation states. No more patriotism. Try it. You'll like it. Welcome to the post-national future, coming sooner than you think. Because we've had enough of endless statements like this one by India's environment minister, national interest trumps all else. Or this one by the president of Turkey, no one should test the power of the state. But why not test the power of the state? Why does an abstraction come before the needs and desires of real people? What if there were no Israel, no China, no Indonesia, no Iraq, no Iran, no United States? Too radical for you? Maybe you'd rather remain a glutton for punishment, continue swallowing non-negotiable declarations, such as the following: no government allows any organization to intervene in its internal affairs. But nation states are not the same as people. Mayans or Amazonians or Tibetans will get along perfectly well without artificial nation states to define them, because people don't wage war, governments do. War presents itself as necessary for self-preservation, when in fact it's necessary for self-gratification. As long as we identify with nation states, we know ourselves only by what we oppose, not by who we are. And who are we? For a few years, we're alive on this planet. Same heart, same mind, same eyes. That's it. Or do you keep turning a blind eye to developments such as the following? A Botswana judge has ruled that Bushmen who return to their ancestral lands in the Central Kalahari Game Reserve are not allowed to drill wells for water, meaning they have to walk up to 380 kilometers to fetch water in one of the driest places on earth, while tourists who stay at the new tourist lodge on the reserve enjoy the use of a swimming pool and bar, and Gem Diamond's planned mine there will be free to use all the water it needs on condition none is given to the Bushmen. Bushman spokesman, Jumanda Gakalbone. If we don't have water, how are we expected to live? No human illegal. No more national borders generated out of fear, out of a total failure of trust. Arbitrary fictions laid down on the landscape, borders which in reality don't exist. And if you believe they exist, tell me, what of all those who came before, swearing fealty to other flags at the cost of their lives? Down through history, conquerors, pillagers, colonizers, criminals. Who are we to claim any land as ours? Go back far enough, everyone's illegal. Let's burn the flags of all nations, release the stranglehold of the nation state, cloud cover for demagogues and racists, for America firsters or Russia firsters, etc. What are they afraid of? That they'll melt into all us other humans? But like it or not, that's exactly what's happening. Reality of the internet. Everyone alive today. Only our IP addresses. No fixed location. Floating in space, just like the planet. No more nation states benefiting those in power, mimicking individual egos in combat, battling for vanishing resources, for territory, Lebensraum, using the sentimental hook of tribal identification to maintain order. The United States of America, a rank hallucination. Russia, Myanmar, Nigeria, you name it, hallucinations generated for profit and control, for suppression of the human spirit. But the human spirit knows no boundaries, no ID cards, no cradle-to-grave oversight. When we step outside the trance and walk among the trees, listen to the birds, do we think they belong to something called the US of A? Do they fall in line behind Old Glory? And around the globe, hundreds of Old Glories, each defended to the death, tears streaming down the cheeks of patriots who drop their flag only to pick up a weapon and murder those unlucky enough to be carrying a different flag. Yeah, it's against the law to burn the American flag. And how many other flags? 192 member states, the United Nations, from Afghanistan, when will we ever learn? To Zimbabwe, the less said the better. Outmoded nationalism, we're outgrowing it. No more electrified fences lit by floodlights of paranoia. No more making the nation state safe for surveillance. No more patriots, heads held high, legitimizing a myth of separation, the myth that we humans, who started as a single band in the prehistoric night, can now act only from our differences, rationalizing mayhem and extermination, forgetting who profits from separation, the corporate, political, and military leaders of phantom entities founded in our name. Let's burn the flags of all nations. Either we join together, or we're a bunch of dead pharaohs lined up in a row, wrapped in shiny metallic tape, reflecting our shriveled narratives back to us. We lie there, not moving, in a cage instead of a playground. It's time to risk everything, open the gates, tear down the fences, shred our passports, roam wherever we like, along rivers and mountains without end, because we ourselves are those rivers and mountains. No human illegal, Syrians, Iraqis, Ethiopians, Mexicans, Guatemalans, let them come. Let them swarm over Gringostan's borders. What are we afraid of? That they'll find out what we're really like? Afraid they'll compromise the American way of life? What is the American way of life? Everything for sale, every last one of us hustling something, methamphetamine trailers lighting up the high plains night, strip malls from sea to shining sea, all for a second slice of virtual pizza, while the other nation states out there are busy copying us. But these campesinos, why are they stampeding across our borders if their village-based mode of survival were still functioning? After corporate capital's scorched earth policy, after the bait and switch called free trade, after the drug violence fueled by our own cocaine habit, after the bombs falling out of the sky, do you really think they'd leave their families and ancestral lands for a life of drudgery in the icy heart of the North? Can you imagine what those who've risked their lives to cross the border are thinking as they clean our toilets and mow the lawns outside our cheesy McMansions while we sprawl in the family room, sucking up doses of radiation from our plasma screens? But what if, on the contrary, the campesinos secretly envy us? What if they want their deracinated children to grow into big-time consumers just like us? What if they can't wait till their kids get lost in celebrity culture, turning into dark-skinned versions of our tight white selves? Dios mío. And democracy, our claim to fame? Time for a reality check. Do we know who represents us? Holograms assembled by generations of spin doctors and handlers. If you doubt it and have enough pull, approach the leader of any nation state. Doesn't matter what his or her politics are. The only question is, how deep into trance is this person? Wave your hand in front of the face. Watch the eyes light up. When you say you'll vote for it, watch the eyes go cold when you say you won't. But things can be different. In fact, at this very moment, the Rojava revolution is happening, radical democracy in northern Syria. 3 cantons translating resistance against state oppression into a new political model of stateless democracy. Inspired by the Kurdish women's movement, social ecology rejecting the nation state as unifier, dispensing with the dominant structure of patriarchal capitalism, and instead basing itself on principles of coexistence. 3 cantons in northern Syria, Afrin, Cizre, and Kobane, surrounded by ISIS on the one side and the Turkish state on the other, both bent on killing what was proclaimed by the social contract of January 2014, a confederation of autonomous regions, while governments around the world continue to follow the Turkish lead and brand them as terrorists, denying them help, denying them arms, but offering the surviving Cesare is surviving, and Kobani almost perished, but Kobani is surviving. Meanwhile, back stateside, left and right, red and blue, enforce the age-old delusion that we can get somewhere only at the expense of others. But haven't you noticed? The game is never won. Over the centuries, always a sense of impending emergency, of corruption and betrayal, the open field of existence tricked into gigantic hoardings of mine and yours. The question is, do we have what it takes to clear the deck and work out a new life? That's the only reason astronauts were allowed up in space, to see global intelligence unfolding, a vast display of ecologies, humans and plants, animals and spirits, sky and ocean. No more nation states, no more patriotism. Try it, you'll like it. Thank you.